You ever look at all the economic news out there and just feel lost? One day the market's up, the next it's down. We're in a recession. No, wait, we're not. How are you supposed to make sense of anything when the information itself feels like a total mess? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into.
I love this phrase, because it gets right to the heart of the problem. It's not that we don't have enough information. Oh no, we're drowning in it. The problem is that so much of it is, well, it's debris. It's just this chaotic cloud of data that's almost impossible to use.
So what exactly is research debris? Just think of it as a metaphor for that mountain of information we're all trying to climb every single day. It's all the data, all the reports, all the research that's so dense and so fragmented that it's basically useless for the very people who need it.
And here's the more official take on it. It's all that knowledge that's kind of just floating out there, underused and untranslated. I think of it like old space junk. It's orbiting way up high in the expert world, but it never makes it back down to Earth where the rest of us can actually use it. It's just debris.
So why does all this junk pile up? I mean, where does it come from? It's not just a simple communication breakdown. It actually comes from this huge fundamental disconnect between the people who create all this information and, well, everyone else who's supposed to make decisions with it.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. You've basically got two totally different worlds operating at the same time. On one side, you have the expert thought world. They live by a logic of rigor, and they speak the language of jargon. Then there's the public thought world. That's us. We operate on a logic of relevance. We just want to know, so what? What does this mean for me? When these two worlds don't speak the same language, you get a whole lot of debris.
And this right here is a perfect example of the problem in action. Take a look. This is an economic calendar for just one day. You've got non-oil exports in Singapore, a bond auction in Japan, some speech from the European Central Bank. This is the expert world in all its glory. For most of us, this isn't useful information, it's just noise.
But buried deep inside all of that noise is a signal, a single, crucial number that cuts right through the clutter. The OECD projects that US GDP growth is going to slow to just 1.6% next year. Now that is something we can understand. That's relevant. That's a clear signal we can work with.
Okay, so we've got the problem down. Now for the really important part. Let's put on our hats as knowledge brokers. We are going to sift through the economic debris that's out there right now, and we're going to look for the most important signals, the big warning signs that can help us figure out what's coming.
Okay, signal number one, extreme market concentration. Right now, those magnificent 7 big tech companies make up about a third of the entire S&P 500's value. Think about that. That's a massive, massive dependence on just a handful of companies.
And here's why that should make you nervous. It creates a really fragile market. The entire structure is basically resting on the shoulders of just a few giants. And that means your portfolio, my portfolio, could take a serious hit from one bad earnings report from just one of these companies, even if the other 493 are doing just fine.
Now for our second signal. And this one hits really close to home for a lot of people. Credit card delinquencies in the US have shot up to a 12-year high. This isn't some abstract number on a chart. This is a crystal clear sign that regular household budgets are being stretched to their absolute limit. And our third signal is what you get when you mix two bad ingredients: slowing growth and stubborn inflation. We're looking at that 1.6% GDP projection while inflation is still hanging around 4%. Economists have a name for this toxic mix: stagflation risk. Basically, your wages aren't growing, but the cost of everything you buy is still painfully high. That's the squeeze, and it's a dangerous trap that markets really don't like.
And look, these warning signs aren't just happening in a vacuum. The pressures we're feeling here in the US are being cranked up to 11 by a really fragile and uncertain situation all around the world.
When you zoom out and look at the global picture, you see all these major headwinds. We're talking escalating trade tensions and tariffs, major economies with some pretty shaky government finances, geopolitical uncertainty that just doesn't seem to quit, and the risk of wild currency swings. Any one of these things could spill over and make all the problems we just discussed even worse.
Okay, so we've waded through the debris and found some pretty clear and frankly concerning signals. So the obvious question is, what on earth are we supposed to do about it? How do we turn this mountain of information into clear, smart decisions?
Well, the expert consensus seems to point to a 3-part strategy. Number 1, stay diversified. That's absolutely critical to protect yourself from that concentration risk we talked about.
Number 2, focus on fundamentals. That means companies with real cash flow and solid balance sheets. They tend to do better when things get choppy. And number 3, probably the hardest one, be patient. The days of easy rocket ship gains are likely behind us for a while.
This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? After years of optimism that was fueled by tons of cheap money, the market is entering a slower, more disciplined phase. One where the fundamentals, the actual health of a business, finally matter again.
And that brings us right back to our central question. The biggest challenge we all face today isn't a lack of information. It's an absolute excess of debris. And that means the most valuable skill you can possibly have is learning to be your own knowledge broker. To filter out the noise, find the signals that actually matter, and connect them to your own life and your own decisions.
Hey, if you found this explainer useful for cutting through some of the noise, do us a huge favor and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We'll keep digging through the debris for you. Thanks for watching.